Hey viewers, my name's Cara. If you haven't seen my Vlogstice video where I talked about my winter solstice altar this year and then talked a bit about how I've changed since high school, please click in the description or on the screen. It'll definitely be in the description. And go back and watch that, because this video is just a little continuation of that discussion. In that video, I was partly talking about the behaviors and actions and reactions that I have exhibited back in high school, in general in my life, kind of acting like a know-it-all just because I knew things, whereas now I realize that I still know a lot of things, but I'm less of a know-it-all, as a thing. I have less of these certain behaviors and actions, and I talked about a specific example that I saw today on Facebook where someone was really representing something that I recognize that I used to do. And because when I was in high school, I was also pretty new to my path. I was a few years down the line, but that's still relatively new in the grand scheme of things. Even now, just being a little more than a decade out, it's still relatively new compared to a lot of people. But it's a step above where I was, for sure. But recognizing that I still don't know everything. So thinking about these things, I was talking about some behaviors that I have noticed in the pagan community over the years that make me think, okay, this person is newer in their path. And I base that partly on things that I know that I thought when I was new to my path, the way that I thought things worked, the way that I acted and behaved when I first started my path, but also on a lot of secondhand knowledge of people's experiences from things that I've either seen on YouTube, watching other people's videos talking about their experiences, or messages that people have sent me talking about, I'm new and these are the things that I'm thinking and feeling and worrying about and wondering about at this stage, right? And then meeting people in the pagan community in my area, seeing some of the same behavior. And that makes me think, okay, this person is probably a little bit newer in their path, which is totally fine. And I talked about that in that other video. The other aspect of this that I didn't go into in that video that I would like to is that while obviously it's totally okay to be newer to a path and not know everything, because we're all new at some point, and how can we expect everyone to know everything immediately? That's just not how things work. It's a lifelong path and we have tons and tons to learn. The tiny amounts that I know about other people's paths seems like I know a lot about other people's paths compared to people who haven't learned about them yet. But compared to the people who actually walk those paths, I don't know anything about their path, I know very basic working knowledge of other people's paths. And until I have the time to really dive in and be like, okay, I'm gonna go to these rituals and I'm gonna celebrate and I'm gonna study and I'm gonna see what it feels like to be part of that path, I'm never really gonna know what it is like to be part of that path. And I might not ever get to that point, because some other paths just don't resonate with my beliefs, so there's only a certain amount that I can really know, because I may never feel that from within myself, So just recognizing that even though I may know more basic working knowledge things than other people, I by no means know everything about everybody's paths, right? And how can we expect newbies to know everything immediately? We just can't. But the other part of this is that, okay, so I meet someone in the community, for example. Maybe online, maybe in person. I meet someone, I have this idea, okay, they must be newer in their path based on the kinds of thoughts and behaviors that they are exhibiting to me. If I then meet that person, again, I see them at an event, or I talk to them year after year on YouTube or something like that, year after year, few years go by, 3 years go by, 5 years go by, 7 years go by, and that person is still exhibiting the same behaviors, actions, thoughts, beliefs that seem, from my experience and viewing other people's shared experiences of what being new was like for them, they seem to still be in the mindset of when they first began. I can't prescribe what anyone else's path should be like. But when I see that, what my thought is that that person has not progressed at all. That they are stuck in that portion of their path where they were when they began. And some people might just want to stay there forever. And I can't say whether or not that's right for them. But to me, this is one of the very important things about keeping track of your progress Whether it's journaling, in a book of shadows, in a mirror book, in a journal type thing, or a record of all your rituals and spells, or whatever it may be, or whether it's vlogging and talking about your path and seeing the way that your views have changed. And Zach from Dayton Pagan Pride actually posted about this on Facebook the other day, talking about like how important it is to keep track and keep a record and see what works and what doesn't, and that helps you progress. That is the kind of thing that I want to do. That is the kind of thing that I think a lot of us want to do. We want to see progress. We want to get better. We want to better our lives. We want to change for the better, right? So we can do this in many different ways. But I feel like some people don't do that. And maybe as a result, they're not seeing that they haven't progressed. So they think there's no further to go. So whereas I can't really speak to the individuals who I've seen this happen with, I can share with you, my audience, just in case this helps anyone. Just in case this is something you've noticed, or this is something you want to go back and look at for yourself. Maybe if it's something you haven't realized. And again, can't tell you whether or not to progress, but I can tell you that it is my understanding that that's what these paths are about. It's about growth. It's about learning. It's lifelong. It's about changing our lives and the world around us for the better. And so when I see people talking about how important their path is to them and sometimes how powerful they think they are, but then I see as time goes by, as years and years go by, and they haven't changed at all, that says to me that they're not doing any work to progress their path, which to me would be devastating. For me to go back and look at my journals and records and to see that I haven't changed at all means, holy crap, I've been doing the same thing over and over and I'm not getting anywhere. And I've done that for periods of time. And when I notice that is when it's like, all right, we gotta go. We gotta take another step. We gotta move forward here, right? So there are things, for sure. There are things that I think may never change about me. There may be some beliefs that I have intrinsically held since I started my path that I still have today. And I might always have them. And those could be very core beliefs. They're just like, yeah, that's just a thing that I've believed since childhood, and that's the foundation of what brought me to first wanting to learn about this path because it resonated, and that's a feeling and a belief that I still hold. And if I still hold that when I die, awesome. Forever and ever, I believed the same core belief that brought me to this path. Cool. Awesome, right? That's powerful in its own way. But there are so many other things that have changed, views that have changed, knowledge that I've gained. And so when I see these behaviors, oh, this person is new to their path, cool. Maybe I don't know they're new. I just met them. They didn't tell me how long they've been practicing. I just make an assumption based on their behavior and the kinds of things they like to talk about. There are some things that people tend to like to talk about and focus all their energy and time on when they're first starting. Many of us grow out of that as we learn and grow and expand our practice and our knowledge of our practice and our personal experiences with it. We kind of grow out of it. It's kind of a little beginner phase. Sometimes we still harbor some of those thoughts, right? For example, year after year, people have the argument about Yule and whether Christianity stole it or whether it's totally different. And we all know that a lot of the elements that are in Christian holidays came from pagan holidays. We all know this. It's in history. It's been recorded. It's stuff that some people refuse to acknowledge, but that we want to acknowledge. Right, okay, we know all this. But year after year, some people are having the same argument, and they get so upset about it year after year, and it never changes. That's just an example, right? That's something that a lot of people feel very strongly about. It's something that other people don't feel very strongly about, but it's an example of the kind of thing that as a community we see coming back to every year. It's that kind of thing. If you find that in your practice, that is a cue that you have not done work to get through something, that you have not broken through an obstacle, that you have not removed an obstacle. If it is an obstacle to your growth, which I think stagnation is by definition an obstacle toward growth. It's an obstacle against motion. And if we're trying to move forward and keep going, then stagnation and staying exactly where you are and not doing anything different is harmful. So when I see those same people year after year talking about how badass they are and how powerful they are and how awesome they are as a pagan, as a witch, as a magician, as whatever they identify, and they talk about a problem, right? And they're like, yeah, we have this problem, and other people are like, yeah, I have that problem too, but we're awesome and we can get through it. And then 6 months later, I see them, man, we're so awesome, we're great, we're so powerful, we can change the world. Hey, I'm having this problem. It's the same problem I had 6 months ago. Hey, I'm having that problem too. I was also having that problem 6 months ago. Yeah, we're awesome. It's okay that we have that problem. We're together. We all have that problem. We're not alone. We're awesome. A year later, hey, I'm having this problem. Hey, I'm having that problem too. It's okay. We're not alone. I'm not exaggerating. I hope you're laughing right now because I'm laughing inside. But I'm not exaggerating. I've seen that happen. I have seen people month after month after month talk about the same blockages that they are experiencing, but they're in a group of people who are all experiencing that blockage, and instead of finding a way to work together to get past it and move forward and expand and grow in their practice, they're just kind of patting each other on the back like, that's okay, I'm having that problem too, so it's okay, you're not alone. Oh, I'm amongst people who get me. And that's awesome! Oh my god, is that awesome, being around people who get you? But it's also great being around people who can help you move forward and unstagnate you, right? You don't just want to be around a bunch of people who are having the same problems as you, and you all keep having the same problems month after year after year after year, and I've seen it happen. So that's why I just want to talk about the other side of that coin. It's perfectly fine to have certain behaviors and ideas and actions when you're a beginner. And that's where I go back to forgiving myself for who I used to be and the way that I used to act and react. And recognizing that that's just kind of something I had to go through. And that's something that other people have to go through. But when I know that you're not a beginner anymore, that you've been doing this for a long time, and you're still doing it, by then you ought to know better. And by then you've had opportunities to learn. And some people just refuse to. And again, maybe they just want to stay there forever. And that's on them, that's not really on me. But it's something that I've seen. It's something that I don't like when I see it in myself. And so I encourage all of you to keep a record of your path, whether it's just a plain old journal, or a record of your rituals, or a vlog, or a blog, talking about your path and the ideas that you have and whatever. I have a list of things that I've talked about in my channel in the early years that I would love to go back and revisit because I have some new thoughts about them now, and it's just that kind of thing. It's okay to have different views later on. Learning something new doesn't mean you were stupid back then. It's just, it's a different understanding of things than you had before. And we're allowed to change our minds as we learn new things. And it doesn't mean that we were wrong and that we were always wrong. We just learn more. Maybe our opinion changes, and that's okay. It doesn't mean we're wishy-washy. And I wish that more people understood that too, because a lot of people seem to think that if someone changes years down the line, then it's like, oh, well, what was their path about then? We've recently seen someone pretty well known and famous completely go back on everything that they've done in years and years of work and basically say that they never believed it and it was all a bunch of bullshit and basically denounce all of it. So what does that mean for the people who really loved that work that they did? Like if I just 10 years down the line said paganism and it's all stupid and it sucks and I was wrong and I never liked it, what would that mean for those of you who find my work helpful? What would that change in my journey mean for you? And what would it mean for me who I am today? Now, I don't see that happening. But what would it mean? Would it change anything? Or does who I am today have validity in itself? And who I was in high school have validity in itself? And who I will be in the future will have its own validity, whoever I am and whatever happens. It's all based on our experiences. We grow and change and learn with those experiences. So if you find that you're not, just take a look, see if you're in the same place that you've been. That should clue you in. Maybe there's something you have to do there. There's a blockage there that you have yet to deal with. If you think you've cleared it, but it keeps coming back, you clear it again, keeps coming back, that means you haven't cleared it deep enough. That means there's more work to do. You gotta keep doing it. If it keeps coming back, you gotta keep working on it. Until it's gone. Until it's totally changed. Blessed be. Love you all. I will leave you alone now. Get off my soapbox. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.